all about the money.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm James T, and we just had to bring in this lovely lady, and the reason is, I know her dad is proud, but I'm just like her dad. I am so. First of all, Miss High C, I am. We are so proud of you. Good morning to you. Happy Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank y'all for letting me rock with you this morning.
Well, the reason is, when I first had this idea, ask your dad about doing these things and all of that, I saw something in you that I saw in a few other individuals in my life. I can and see. I really don't want to start calling names because I'm going to leave somebody out. They're going to say, "Well, James T, well, why didn't you think of me?" But let me just say to everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Let's take care of business first. This is Understanding Money Part 2. I'm James T, and I'm going to have these two people introduce themselves in just a moment. But going back to the introduction, the fact is the Robert Henderson Financial Group has just been outstanding. So I wanted to give them their accolades. But to this young lady that just was on moments ago doing cream, I just want her to know that we're just overly proud of who you are becoming.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
it's gonna be a great journey, and the reason that I want to put that weight on you is because if your dad ever decides that I'm through with this, I want you to know we're not through with the Henderson Financial Group.
That's the
so,
plan. Hey, that is the plan. That's the
so,
plan. That's the
yeah.
plan.
So I just so hey, I got to hear from both of you guys. Hey, Rob, and let's let her because she may have a busy Saturday. I don't know, but hi, C. Can you start the recap today? Introduce yourself to everybody on Understanding Money Part 2, and then do a recap of what you did this morning on Cream.
Awesome. All right. So again, thank you, gentlemen, so much for having me. Of course, many of you know this is my pops, Mr. Henderson, founder, president of the Henderson Financial Group. I've had the pleasure and the honor of being his daughter for the past 39 years. And Mr. James T, I've known you growing up as well. You've always been an important mentor in my life, influential person in my life. So thank you for being you, always encouraging me, believing in me, sending me stuff to just kind of remind me of who I am and encourage me to see beyond what I see right now. So thank you for that. You've been consistent in that. And so as far as what I do, right? So at the Henderson Financial Group, I've been here for the past 19 years. By trade, by license, by credentialing, if we want to go there, I am a licensed stockbroker, also a licensed investment advisor, a licensed annuity and insurance broker. But my sacred work, my soul work is really to empower the people, to educate the people, and to elevate the people. So we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about, making those numbers dance, as I like to say. But we're also, and we're also going to remind ourselves that we can do anything we want to do. We're going to remind ourselves of the power that we possess if we make a decision, if we take actions. And so that's a little bit about who I am and how I show up in the ecosystem.
And James, when you and I was talking this morning, you said that I signed a quick claim, a document for you back in
93.
1993. Jasmine, the 25-year-old daughter, my youngest daughter, she wasn't even born because she was born in 1995. In 1993, when you and I was doing that transaction,
Yes, sir.
Heisey was 12.
Wow.
That was
Well,
27 years ago. Heisey was 12 years old, and you and I, we was doing our thing, that relationship. Now look at us now. Woo.
Y'all was doing business. I was 12, and now look at the three of us.
And that's something.
Wow.
We were doing business in 1993, James. You and I, you were doing a real estate deal, and we did the quick claim deed. My name's on there. You were just sharing that with me. And I'm like, Heisey was 12 years old. Jasmine is 25. She wasn't even born.
But Rob, what it says is, and that's what I love so much about, because everybody asks, well, you're on the air sometimes. I'm always working. See, and this is what people miss. And I see your dad and we are always working because working is not jobbing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking. We stop looking for a job years ago when he left CBS. When I left ITT Defense Communications, we realized that there was a difference between being employed and being deployed. You know,
Mm. Yes.
employed meant that somebody else was going to tell you what your value was. Being deployed is when you determine what your value is and you're willing to step out. And there's just so much history there. But yes, the first deal that I made on my first real estate property, your dad pulled up the quick and met him through relationships are so important in
Wow.
our life. So it's powerful. It's powerful. But what we want to do, rather than tell our story, because we want our listeners and our viewers to realize that the Henderson Financial Group is a group of people, including the lovely lady that you see with me and Robert that you see every Saturday. And hopefully you check out that Cream Show because we all have a purpose. We were all created with a purpose and all given a gift. And as I told Robert today, what we wanted to do after the recap is we want to just empower our people to say, I am going to think beyond my job. Because if you still have a job, then you're not doing your work. But you can have a job that prepares you to work, to do your work, that you were created to do, that you were gifted to give to the world, and so that you could be continually blessed to be a blessing to the world. And that's
Yes.
what you guys do so great. And I really appreciate that. So, Rob, let's recap 8 o'clock, and then we'll have IC recap Cream, and then let's get into it.
Yes, yes. Well, earlier we talked about from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Linda and I, we talked about, we just really want the concept of what a bond is. You know, a bond is nothing but an IOU. We also talked about what's a growth stock, you know, and each and every one of us, believe it or not, we have the characteristics, our personality, how we move, what we do, of either a bond or a growth stock, you know, and we have the characteristics of a dividend stock or dividend fund, you know, and all three of those mean something, but really metaphysically, we are it. They just put the names on it, you know, in the financial part of it, but it's a principle. They're principles. Bonds are people who are basically complacent. They scared to venture out. They just want to play it safe. And they know where they're going to be. In other words, they know they're making $100. They're making $30,000 a year now. They know they wait for the 3% raise, and that's it. And a lot of times they go through life, you know, later on, they'll look back and they'll regret not taking some risks because life is so short. And in order to be all you could be, you have to try things. You can't be complacent and afraid to fail. But a bond concept, I like that. And a lot of people have bonds, or that a lot of people have CDs. That's that same mindset. But then you have to have some growth. You got to take on some risk, not a whole lot of risk, but the risk to be better because you have to change. And when you want to grow, you have to change. There's no way you can grow without change. And that's what growth stocks. If you have a growth stock type mind, you know, now there will be some setbacks, there will be some rainy days, but that's okay. That's a part of the whole process of living and growing. And then we talked about dividends. What is dividends? Dividends is when you actually have an asset. You're the asset. You might have a 9-to-5 job, but you also getting some cash flow other ways, other avenues, other assets. So a dividend is an asset that you buy, but it also gives you rent. It gives you interest. It gives you cash flow, so to speak. If this is real estate, it'll be like buying a piece of property and renting it out. You own the property. You own the asset. Hopefully it's going to grow later on, but you really want the cash flow. You want the dividends. You want the Section 8. When it's stocks, you say, okay, I want to buy the stock. The stocks will go up and down. It's not guaranteed, but that interest, that dividend that you receive every month or every quarter, that makes up for any type of fluctuation during your principal. And that's what we talk. So all of us, somehow, some frame, you have to be able to see beyond your naked eye, that third eye, to see what's going on holistically with you, your thoughts, and what are you doing. And you really can't not really reach your highest until you start creating and taking some risk, because we are created by our creator, and our creator says there's no limits keep going, evolve, and evolve means to change. I like Heisey, her show when she was just talking about asset protection, and you are the greatest asset. Heisey, tell us more about that.
You know what? As I was listening to you do your recap of the 8 o'clock show, I was just like, oh my gosh, everything is so connected. Everything is connected. It's aligned. Even as you did the introduction, Mr. Thomas, as you started talking about employed versus deployed, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope the people are picking up what he is putting down. Y'all are just so powerful, right? So really quickly, when you think about employed, I think about being employed, being held in, right? As versus deployed, you're sharing, you're prospering, you're sharing your gifts, your talents, you're, as Mr. Henderson said, you're creating. It just was like it painted this vivid picture. And then as I was listening to you recap the morning show, I want everyone who's out there, if you haven't done so yet, under the sound of our voices right now, this is your reminder to ask yourself, how are you showing up? Am I a bond? Am I a dividend stock? Am I a growth stock? It's okay. Have that one-to-one kumbaya moment, self with self, and identify where you are. Because let me tell you the beautiful thing about identifying where you are. It will let you know where you are, and then you can plan for where you want to go. You realize you were a bond, as I heard you say, bond,
yeah.
Right? I thought, as I talked about on the Cream Show today, I said, gosh, that sounds like a poverty consciousness.
Yes, because when you're a bond, you actually lending your assets to the bank. Like when you put money in the bank, you think that that's an investment when you buy a CD. No, you're lending your money to the bank. The bank is using what you are worth to make more off you.
Exactly.
And you are sitting there saying, oh, I'm getting 1%. Right. I'm getting a little bit every month. Banks are so bad. It's fixed rate. I'm getting a little bit. So the bank's saying, okay, give us what you are worth. Give us your worth.
And let us go do something.
And let us go do something with it. That's right.
That's what they're saying. And really what you guys are saying, and that's why I wanted that thinking beyond, because I don't think that we have grown to the point to realize that our life goal should be to become deployed. And it's because we have been so historically brainwashed to believe that in this life, all that we're supposed to do is to go to school, get an education, and get a good job. But as Robert, when we talked earlier this morning, what if you went to school, you got an education, and you were told to now become who you were created to be? Woo! That greater that's in you. What if they said, we're going to show you, because now we've noticed you, I see, and we think that you would do well in this business. And we don't want you to go work for someone else to build their wealth off of your giftedness. We want you to go and work with someone else so that as they increase in their wealth, you will also increase. And so often what we do is we find out that even when we have that job, we create relationships. We get an opportunity to see things we did not see when we were not in that office environment or when we did not know these people. Hey, I could have never known that, hey, Robert Henderson can do my quick claims deed on a property that I would own since 1993. And you can imagine what we've been able to do since 1993. But I want everybody to just stop for a moment and say that my wealth is not in my employment, it's in my deployment.
Yes,
as High C said, if you would take that moment to have that, I don't care if you have to look in the mirror and talk to yourself, but you need to have a conversation with yourself and say, I know I can do better, because the people who hire you know you have greater value. You don't know that you have greater value.
Well,
go ahead,
what
Rob.
they've given you a master's degree in business, but you are the business that you have not mastered.
And wait,
so you
Rob.
pay money to get a master's degree. You are the business, but you haven't mastered
the business, right?
You haven't mastered. So you have a master's degree, a little certificate, so you can go and work all what you are worth and give it to a company so they can employ you rather than you deploying yourself.
But Rob, your master's degree came from someone who wants to master you.
That's
And
right.
I am the captain of my faith. But hey, and that salary is someone else's opinion of what your value is, even if they give you an increase. I mean, people used to say, oh, these athletes, oh, they make all this money. But see, you never know what that owner and that group, whether it's the NB whatever or the NF whatever, hey, believe me, they're not paying all those people and going broke. They're paying all those people, all those millions and all those billions because they are making trillions upon trillions upon trillions, and they will do it beyond their lifetime. That's why it's so important that we think beyond our job. Use that job to deploy yourself because deployment is the use of and the sharing of that gift that only God, the Creator, gave to you for you to have that abundant life. Okay, Miss Heisey.
So I'm listening. I'm just like in awe right now. Thank you all again for having me here today. So on the American Cream Show, we started about maybe 9:30ish today. We're a little tardy to the party, right?
Yeah.
So on the American Cream Show, we talked about moving from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness. And when I spoke about that, I shared 3 ways that we can identify if we are living in poverty consciousness. And one of the ways was I believe, or you believe, that you're already at the top floor. So when I hear employed moving to deployment, when I hear getting your master's degree but not mastering yourself, understand that if you think that way, you're just at that floor. You're not at the top floor. There is more to go further. What does that mean? Let me say how it's coming to me. Basically, what I'm saying is while you're employed, don't be mad. Don't be angry. That is your
No.
basic training. That's your basic training, but your goal is not to stay there. There's a floor higher. There's a floor higher. And sometimes we get so complacent and comfortable, and nothing good comes from your comfort zone or your complacent level, right? But you get so complacent and comfortable. Well, they're paying me this. I got a good employer. I got these good benefits. And you stay there. But baby, you're not even at the top floor yet. Now it's time for you to take that information and go deploy it out into the world. And you cannot be deployed if you are employed and being held hostage, right? So then while you think about the master's degree, I love that example that you gave, because you're right, Mr. Henderson. A lot of people like, oh, I got my master's and this and this. If you got your master's, that's fantastic. We're not knocking or kicking you. What we're saying is the value is not in the master's degree. The value is not in the master's degree. Obtaining your master's degree does not put you at the top floor. There is a floor above that. That floor means once you obtain your master's degree, as Mr. Henderson said, you take that master's degree and then you go master self so that you can then go deploy everything that you learn out into the ecosystem. That's how you move from floor to floor to floor. But when you're in a poverty consciousness, you believe that with my master's degree, that's it. With my employer, that's it. Poverty consciousness will keep you stuck into that space. You will never be able to achieve your greatest great and your highest high while you're operating in a poverty consciousness. So what we want to encourage you to do, and I did a whole show on this, you can go run a tape back, as I like to say, is be committed to moving from poverty consciousness to prosperity consciousness.
Yeah, I like that. You know, there's an old saying that said employees work just enough not to get fired, and employers pay you just enough where you won't quit.
Quit.
And that's that love-hate relationship.
Oh, come on, Rob.
You do just enough so you won't get fired.
Right.
And they make sure they pay you just enough where you won't quit.
Won't quit.
Boy,
Yeah.
what kind of mind lock is that?
Dr. Miles Monroe, I love the study, and he says, well, your value is going to be determined, and that compensation is all based on their need for what you do, how well you do it, and how much it will take to replace you.
Yeah.
They need what you do so that they can continue to not just make or earn what they earn, but increase what they earn. How well you continue to do it. See, and that's the other thing that I want to be so good at what I do that when they try to replace me, they crash.
So, so, so what I hear is you saying basically, because I still like to break it down. Like, what do
Go
I
ahead.
take with this, right? So what I hear you saying is, I got to recognize my value and
Woo.
then be determining ways to consistently increase my value.
Increase, always. Because wait, that's the other thing. See, Napoleon Hill talks about definiteness of purpose. When
Yes.
when you have that purpose, right? Then he said, mastermind. Now, mastermind is not mastering just your mind, but it's working with others who
Others.
are mastering their mind that will help you to do. I think it was Andrew Carnegie who said, one of the richest men in America at the time, and he said, I know nothing about making steel, but I know how to manage people who do.
Yes.
That's right.
So
And
he
that's
got
what's
the
up.
master. Yeah, he got the mastermind. Now the thing that you're talking about, High C, is to go the extra mile. Whenever I'm in meeting with my leadership team, I always ask the person that's directly over me, have I done everything that you have asked and called for me to do? And the answer is yes. Have I done more than you've asked me to do? Because I'm gonna always go the extra mile, and the extra mile is not so much for you as much as it is for me, because I don't want to just continue to say I've been on this job for 20 years, but I have only 1 year experience because I've repeated that 1 year 19 times. I want to say, no, I've been on this job for 20 years, and every year I was better than I've been, but I'm never as great as I'm going to be, because I'm always going to be striving to learn more and to do more to have greater value. And not just for whom I work, but for me, because my work is that gift in me that's called, Rob, a seed. And you know what
Yes.
happens? Hey, sometimes they say, hey, I heard, I got to give Tracy Cloyd, a dear coworker of mine. She said, and we were talking about Black History Month, and she said they tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we were a seed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that's something. Hey James, when you were just talking, it made me think about 40 years ago when I said this on the 8 o'clock show. 40 years ago when I was working for CBS Channel 4, right? As a graphic artist. And they was paying me $15 an hour. Now, that was 40 years ago. And I said, I had two kids, little mine, little Heisey.
Hmm.
Heisey, right? And then I had my son, right? Heisey was just being born. And I said, you know what? I can't afford a job. Can you believe that?
Mm.
I said, I cannot afford a job. That's what I said. Now, why would I say that? Because my mom was like, hey, son, you making $15 an hour. When I'm going to tell my friend you work for CBS Channel 4, I say, but I need more because I can't spend the rest of my life stuck with a ceiling. I have to be all I could be. Because then, let me tell you something. $31,000 a year, you wasn't rich. I was saying,
Come on.
how was I going to continue to be an explorer? How was I going to continue to learn and go and seek knowledge if I had to just be there, for the rest of my life? And that depressed me. So I said, I got to leave here and I have to go and get into a field where there's no limits. I have to first learn about the field first. So I stayed at Channel 4 for 5.5 years. So
Come
what we're
on.
saying is, if you're listening and you on a job, we're not telling you just run off the plantation.
Mm-mm.
We're not telling
No.
you just run off. We tell you to get yourself a plan. It's like Andy did in Shawshank Redemption. He took a long time. He was right there doing this. He was there, but he had a plan.
But
You got to get yourself another plan so you could be free and be all you could be and create, just like the source, the
come on.
creator meant for us to be creators.
Yes, I'm telling you, folks. I got to make sure that High C knows that we're supposed to say you are tuned in to the Henderson Financial Group.
Understanding money.
If I'm going to teach, I've got to be a good teacher, so that you can know. And we want you to share. Please share this. Please, just do us a favor. It's free. Just share, because if something that we have said touched you, just think what it might do for somebody that you know or that you love. And this is always going to be up, so we want you to share. And that phone number, 305, what is it, I see?
825-1444.
Hey, that's the number that you want to call so that you can begin to seek and get information about things that you don't know. Because, hey, that how to is so important. But what's most important? It's not just how to, how do I? And now, in order to do that, Mr. Henderson, High C, they're going to ask you some information about yourself. Because right now, you may want to, quote unquote, start earning what your boss earns, but you don't know what your boss knows. So you need to start where you are so you can get to the point that you can say, I am of greater value. And if you cannot, quote unquote, give me an opportunity to continue to grow, then I know it's time for me to go.
And James, I'm so glad that you said that and said it like that, because we don't want to give the impression that for the people that's listening that you're supposed to just run off your job and leave your job and become entrepreneurs. No, because we all worked 9 to 5. We all, and we still do it now. We work for the Henderson Financial Group. We do, but we still create. So we're not trying to tell you, like some young people, it's like, hey man, how old are you? 25 years old. Are you work anywhere? Nah, I'm trying to create whatever. No, it's, it's a time for everything. And I think when you do have a regular job, a 9 to 5 job, you're supposed to be keeping your ears and eyes open, seeing and learning the system, how it works. That's good to learn the system, how it works. At the same time, since you have 24 hours in a day, you don't supposed to just stay there. You're supposed to say, okay, I'm learning right now. This wherever I am is paying my bills, is giving me some gas money I can eat. But I gotta have another plan. Just like Andy in Shawshank Redemption. He gotta say, okay, listen, I'm in prison, but every night I'm gonna take this little hammer and be digging the tunnel. You follow me? That's the principle. That's the concept. You don't just run off. Even in Roots, you can't just all of a sudden run off to the plantation. You got to at least plan a strategy if you're a slave and you want to break out. Harriet Tubman told you that. Harriet Tubman said, listen, I gotta have one or two things: liberty or death. That was she said. She had to have one of two things. There's liberty and there's death. She had to have one of them. Either she gonna die or she got to have liberty. So she was Underground Railroad. She said, listen, I'm going and I got to be free. It was a risk now. So so what's the principle of that? Is there any risk of being free? Is there any risk of creating and being all that you could be? It's got to be risk because it's filled with faith. And the creator says you got to believe. When you believe in faith, there ain't no guarantees. You just got to say, I know what I know. I could do this.
But Rob, what you talked about this morning and what we've always talked about, and High C, please get this. There are universal principles in life. And hey, the principle is what's going to judge you. You break the principle, you get what you get from breaking principles. You obey the principle, you get what you get for obeying the principle. So the universal principles that are out there, as much as they want to educate you to increase your skill, if you don't use your skill in a way that it stays with the principles that were not created by man, but created by the creator. Because I have this saying, I said, man want to tell you that he has laws, but man can't make a law. Man can make rules, but he doesn't make laws. And he'll try to make you follow the rules thinking they are laws. But if he has me breaking a principle by his law, shame on him, because I'm following the other him and I'm going to get what's mine and he's going to get what's his. Because if they continue to build this country on the lies that are being told, hey, Rob, we can bet on it and bank on it that we are going to be in the other, as not the upper room, in the other room, and we're going to be doing what they do. We're going to be making money off their failure because there is opportunities everywhere. Rob talks about, hey, the calls, the puts, but you don't go out there just because somebody told you about it and say, here's what I want to do. You want to ask, knock, and seek. Am I correct, Mr. Henderson?
You're 100% correct. You have to. And one thing that people have to understand is time. James, look at that. I just said that when you and I 27 years ago did a transaction, Hyacinth, my daughter, was 12 years old. Now, at that time, James, when you and I was conducting business, we didn't even, matter of fact, they didn't even have smartphones.
a smartphone.
They ain't
We
had
didn't
no
even have a
Facebook.
cell phone.
Hey, he ain't had the cell phone. Listen, only one had the cell phone was the drug dealers and the rich people, right? And the cell
looking
phone was this
looking
big.
like a battery, looking like a battery. The
That's right.
people will walk in and take a battery and sit it up on the counter to say, "I've got a phone." So you walking around like you work for Bell South or somebody. Yeah,
That's right. But what do we
carrying a phone.
learn? What do we learn from that, James?
Season.
What do we learn from that? We learn time,
Mm.
planting the
Planting,
seed,
that's planting. You got to
relationship.
plant it.
Not doing all that time, how we wind up here
Come on.
in the future, because that was the present. We was planting seeds. Heisey was 12 years old doing what 12-year-old people do.
Mm-hmm.
You was James, you was working, doing what you was doing. I wasn't saying, James, can't do that. I wasn't monitoring you. And I, 27 years ago, I was doing what I did. But each of us was doing our thing, which was obviously prosperous and positive. Because if it wasn't positive and in harmony and in unity, we couldn't have been here right now in the present.
Yes.
Because if you would have did something, I'd have did something, we'd have been in jail, we wouldn't have been here. So we didn't break the law. We did what we did separately. And the future came. And right now, 14 years ago, James, you the one said, Rob, get on the radio and talk. 3 hours. Even then, 14 years ago, we didn't know that we was going to be on Facebook doing this show, educating people. My whole point is you don't have to know when or how it's going to happen. All you got to do is have faith and believe and keep on creating, changing, growing. And boy, before you know it, you don't know how far we can go. We're going to take, even right now, we're going to take this thing farther, aren't we?
Yes, sir. High C, I know one of the things that you deal with, and when it gets, they can spell that word cream, but if they do all those things before the M and it doesn't get to the mindset, all you do is you know something you didn't know, but you won't get what you're supposed to get until you change that mindset. Speak to that.
Yeah, you have to shift the consciousness. I love that you brought that up as you all were saying about being employed and not running out and leaving right now and saying that that's not what we're encouraging you to do right now. The word mind came to mind. I said, what we're encouraging you to do is to prepare your mind to understand that this is not the top floor, that there is more. And so CREAM, again, it stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. And mindset is my favorite. And it is the most important. I want you to shift your thinking, understanding that your money is in your mind first. Before your money can be in your bank account, before your millions can be in your bank account, the M in millions is for mindset. The M in money is for mindset. The M in mastery is for mindset. Mindset will make sure that everything else that you want to do is set. So how do we do that? Again, on the 9 o'clock show, we talked about poverty consciousness and shifting to prosperity consciousness. One way to do that and to get started on that journey is to say, you know what? I'm open. I'm open. I'm open. So many of us are closed. We're closed. We feel like we know it all. Our cousin told us this. Our mama's mama did it that way. And you're just like, well, are you open to hearing a new way? You open to hearing new ideas? And here's the thing. There are 8 billion people on the planet. So if not for nothing, we should understand that 8 billion people who all do things in a different way. And it is impossible for me, myself, and you included, to know how each person operates. So that alone tells you that there are other operating systems out there. So if you're open, you're making the commitment to open yourself up to upgrading your operating system. What is your operating system? Your operating system is your mindset. Because if your mindset is closed and your operating system is not open, it does not matter how many videos you listen to, how many degrees you get, how many shows you watch. It does not matter. The operating system, every time you try to put something new in it, it's still going to fail. Every single time.
Hey, I got to do this. 305-825-1444 is the number. But what I want you to do right now, I'm going to steal something from High C. If you're open to learning or hearing something that you have not heard, that you do not know, and you're willing to make that call next week, whatever, I want you to start hitting ones. Everybody. I don't even want you to say I'm open. I don't want you to go through any work. Just start hitting ones if you are open. Because the fact is, let me share something with you. Everything that you need to live an abundant life was given to you at birth.
Mhm.
Everything.
Mm.
But you just had to ask, you had to knock and to seek. I see Doretha just hit a one. Hey, don't, and you're not hitting it. Thank you so much, Doretha, but don't hit it for yourself. Hit it so that others will be encouraged to be open as well. And the call is simple. The call is simple because when you get the call, you're going to make an appointment and you're going to get an opportunity to talk with staff to say, hey, this is where I am. Can you help me? And the question is, believe me, they're not gonna give you an exam. They're gonna just ask you, are you willing to tell truth about where you are?
That's
Because
right.
because you can't get. If I wanted to get to where High C and Robert was, the first thing I got to do is get up from where I am. I got to be willing to leave from where I am to go, and you've got to be willing to leave from where you are to go to a place that you've never been before. But you've got to use that mastermind mentality of finding people who know. That's why I'm with these. That's why I work with the Henderson Group. I work with them. That's why I wanted them to tell. They showed me things I don't know. And
Yeah.
my wife called Linda just before we went on, Robert, to thank her for Mr. Albert, who we've been working with all week. Another connection that you have. These people are not saying, Robert and High C are not saying they're the answer to all that you have, but they are the way to getting and finding the answers for the people that you need. They don't do everything, but they
Right.
do, but they're connected with people who do those things that will put you in a different place. Because that money that you have that you are quote unquote saving, if it's not working for you, then it's not doing all that it should do. Robert?
Hey, I'm glad you said that. And Heisey said being open. See, James, the reason why we can do what we do, because we are open. We know being open is the key to more and greater. You
Mm.
have to be open. You cannot be closed mind. Now, Heisey and I, we just learned something new. Now, I said we just learned a new, powerful, powerful, powerful strategy. I said we just learned something new. But in truth, it's been around 200 years.
Isn't that something?
It's been around 200 years. I'm 62 years old. I've been in the financial services for 37 years. Had I not been still seeking, asking, knocking, and open, I wouldn't have came up and found out about this new, powerful strategy because it's not new. It's new to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around 200 years, 300 years. It is a powerful, powerful strategy that the rich and famous use right now, but they don't even talk about it. It's new to us, but it's old, and they've been doing it for a long time. So you got to be open. That's the only reason why we came on to this, and we know.
It's so interesting that you said that, because as we're learning it and going through the lessons, I remember thinking, and I may have shared this with you, I said, it doesn't feel like I moved to a different level. That would be small. I have to say, in learning this information that we're learning now, it feels like I literally moved to another ecosystem. Yes. I moved to another planet. It's not even next level. It's like, what in the world? You mean this is out here? And I was so thankful and grateful to have been in that space, or to be in that space, because it reminds me all the time that this ain't the top floor. There is more. There's more. And so what I want to share with you really quickly is, as you're thinking about and understanding the importance of you being open. See, when you practice and consistently become open, what it will start to do is it'll help you manage your time, and it'll pick your connections. Because once you know and you go through the work that it takes for you to be open and be consistently open, you don't have any time for anybody or any situations who ain't open. It's like, oh, you're not open, you closed-minded. I can't waste my time convincing you. I can't waste my time on you, because I know that there are 8 billion people, 8 billion opportunities for me to be open. So when we encourage you to be open, it really is a game changer. If me and Mr. Henderson can learn this with the massive amounts of information that we already know, and still feel like we're on a whole different planet on this, it's so much more available to you. There's so much available to you. We are simply sharing our stories and serving as guides on your journey. It's your journey.
Ooh, it's your journey. It's your journey. It's your journey. That number 305-825-1444. We'd love to have you call the Henderson Financial Group and say to them, hey, I'm interested. I'm open. I'm open. Where do I start? And they'll start with an opportunity for you to have an appointment so that you can share some information about who you are, and where you'd like to go. And see, the key is they will help guide you, as Heisey said, to that way based on what they know. And they are not going to stop learning. We're never going to stop learning. It's just like I heard someone say retirement is not in the Bible. Hey, so I'm not going to retire. I think it was, I forget, some motivational speaker says on his 81st birthday, they asked him, they said, now that you're 81, are you going to retire? He said, God never used anyone greatly until after they were 80. He said, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to refire.
Hey, James, you know the funny thing about what me and Heisey talking about, I said that it's new, but it's old.
Right.
Oh,
It's
it's old.
old wisdom. It's old strategy. It's old financial strategy they've been using 300 years. It's new to us. So what does that really say? It says that every time we learn something, we realize how little we know. I want to say it again.
Ooh.
Every time we learn something, we realize, oh my God, we just learned this. How long has it been around? Oh, 300 years. So it's got to be, it's more. Yeah, it is. It's more where that come from. Oh my God. So how do you get there? You got to be open. Open means open-minded, open to change. You have to ask, seek, and knock. You have to get to the people who are open. And what we are doing is innovating and discovering. Let me tell you something. What's amazing about this. This strategy that me and Heisey just got open to, they don't teach it in college. No, they don't. An MBA, a PhD, they don't teach you this strategy. They don't teach you this strategy if you become an attorney. They don't teach it in the CFP, the whole certified financial planner. It's only 80,000 of us, and we're supposed to be the top dogs in turn. They don't teach this strategy that me and Heisey just found out about, and we are learning. They don't teach it. They don't teach lawyers. They don't teach CPAs. And it's been around 400 years. And guess what? We're finding out that a lot of wealthy people been using this, but they quiet. So if we finding out this, how much more invisible gold nuggets are out here?
Oh, they're there.
That's what excites us.
That's what, well, we're to be excited. And of course, we want you to know that this program happens on Saturdays. I don't know. Where are we on time, Miss Heisey?
It's 11:15. You mean the actual time check?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. So I just wanted to know how many minutes we have. I guess we've been on for like 40 some minutes. 40. Yeah. Okay. But we want you, if you're listening now, and I see people keep hitting the ones, but if you're going to be open-minded, if you're willing to just say, hey, I want, and there's no commitment. And first of all, since everybody's afraid of what are you going to charge, Robert, what do you charge for your consultation?
Listen, you give us a call. Now, nobody can't say they can't get an appointment because we here 6 days a week. You can get an appointment. If you want a consultation, all you got to do is call. They'll give you Monday at 2 or Wednesday at 3 or Friday at 6, we even take 7 p.m.
Whoa.
But you can get an appointment. In other words,
she got a life.
I don't want you to think that, well, I've been doing this. So
yeah, Mr. Henderson, listen, he's right. The point is call
He'll
have me working 7 days a week.
Call me.
But here's the thing, and I like that you mentioned that, some people may be questioning, what is it going to cost? And that's a valid question. But after you ask yourself that question, not even after you ask that question, I want you to ask yourself that question in a different way.
What is the word?
Stop at what is it going to cost? Because we do discovery calls is what we call them. And they're 15-minute discovery calls where I get to know you, you get to know me. Most of you all now listen to us on some social platform. So you have background information. And during that call, I ask some questions and I send you out some information, and then we get you on the appropriate calendar, whoever your advisor is going to work with. Right. And so that's a 15-minute free discovery call. So now after we move past that, and I want you to ask yourself, not only what is it going to cost, here's the question. What is this going to cost me to not know the information that they know? What is that going to cost me to not know what
all
they
these
know?
secrets, all this strategy.
Energy has to be exchanged, right? So we do some stuff for free, but it's not free 99. So when you pay, what you're doing is you're sowing a seed. We talked about a seed and we talked about an investment. You're saying, I know y'all up for 4 a.m. You're up 7 days a week. You want to be at the beach, but you're studying, you're learning. You know, now every weekend, every Sunday, I got to be home by a certain time because I'm in this class and things like that. I can't do Sunday brunch anymore. So I know you'd rather be doing that, but instead you're educating yourself and you're learning. And instead of me doing that, me, the client, I'm going to pay you a fraction of what it will cost me to know this information.
Yeah.
So when you pay somebody, it's not what is it going to cost? What is it going to cost you to not know the information that we know? And that is the question.
Yeah, we give you more in value than we take in pay.
Rob, and the whole thing is, guess what? What you don't know is costing you what you are now and who you are now and what you're doing now and the stress and the worry that you're going through, wondering how in the heck am I going to make it?
What's that saying? Say, if you think education is expensive, try being ignorant.
well, all you got to do is, Rob, think about those people who are telling them, no, as a matter of fact, we're not even going to give you $15 an hour. And when we decide to do it, we're going to do it in increments. And maybe it'll wind up to be $15 an hour in 5 years. Man, I tell them to take that 15 and, make a deposit. But the fact is, come on, we have to think beyond is there anybody that's viewing us right now at some point in your life had to think beyond the job that you were doing? Because like Rob said he did, I know I had to. My father told me I was crazy to leave a good job with ITT, Defensive Communications in Nutley, New Jersey, to want to have a career in radio. DJ. He said, that ain't no damn job. That's exactly what he said. And I told him, I said, but Dad, I'm not looking for a job. I said, I want to do something that I enjoy doing, and I want to be able to earn more money than a person who has a job is willing to pay me. And I was just 22. And sure enough, oh my goodness, and when you have that mindset, I see, because I had that mindset, it wasn't that I was so smart, it was that God was so good. He said, that's my son. That's he may not know me like he should, but he knows that he is better than what somebody else is willing to pay him.
And it's like God said, I got you. Come on, I got you.
Believe me, and has had me all these years. And like I tell them, I retire. I think it was Zig Ziglar. I'm like Zig Ziglar. I retire. I ain't never gonna retire. I'm gonna be like Jesus Christ. I'm gonna just say, it is finished. I'm not retired. It's just finished. So until it's finished, hey, Rob, we're going to be telling them that we have something that we can give them to help them, not just to help themselves, but also to help somebody else and to help their children. I sit here so proud to see this young lady here. And yes, I'm going to call another name that everybody knows. I'm going to call two names that everybody knows. Joanne Reed, that Robert, both of us have mentored and helped.
That's right.
For her to be where she is, and for Tamara Gant. And I take the females because the men, I can handle them. I can't handle the females who are going to say, why do you call my name? But people that you reach out and you see something in them and you want to give all that you can give to get them to be willing to give all that they have to get to a better place.
That's powerful, man. That is powerful. That's powerful, James. And then when you think about it, when we're talking about creating and being all you could be, if you think about it, the system is not designed to give everybody jobs at what they're worth. There's not enough jobs to pay you what you are worth. They're just not. They can't. They cannot pay you. I don't care what you work for, IBM, whatever big company, that everybody cannot get a job and get paid what you are worth. So what does that tell you? That tells you that some of us have to create. That's what it tells you. And you just think about it. We have to create. Getting a job is good, but you don't have to stay. That's just like being on the turnpike and you go to the rest stop. You ain't got to stay in there. Some of y'all on y'all journey, y'all done pulled over and went on the turnpike. On your journey, your long journey in life, you done pulled inside into the rest stop, and you still been there 5-10 years. You still in the rest stop.
Hey,
It's time
Rob,
to go, man.
and guess what? The 2 words they're saying. I'm good.
I'm safe. I'm
I'm
safe.
good.
No. Come out of
Boy,
that bathroom. Let's go. We gotta keep going. Come out of that bathroom.
I'm
We gotta
good.
keep on going.
No, there's so much more. There's so much more. And believe me, there's so much more that you can do with that gift, that seed that you have, that will be there to serve others. Not just to say, look what I've got, but how can I be a blessing to someone else? How can I help someone else to also say, hey, the people who are deployed, employ. So I want to be deployed. I want to employ people to help me to take this journey to another level and to another place. And then I want to bring people along with me because, hey, believe me, we're not here to say, look at me, look what I did. No. Hey, we're here to say, like they said, someone once said too, that you'll be remembered for the people that you blessed. That's how your legacy will live on. That's how you live on. Who did you touch? Who did you help?
Yeah. Who did you
Not,
help? Yeah.
not how many stacks you had or what billboard you were on. That becomes that's not important at all.
Yeah. Hey, James, I think the biggest hoax out there right now is to give someone a master's degree who have not mastered themselves.
Yeah.
And what does this MBA stand for? Masters in business.
Okay.
People got masters in business degrees and they ain't never been in business. They ain't never sold ice cream. They ain't never even sold some water or oranges. But yet they call themselves a master and they haven't mastered themselves. And it's all about you. Who are you? How high can you go? Why do you limit yourself? Who told you you're not worth more? Why do you believe that this is all what you worth? And if you selling for it, you telling the world this is all that you are worth. You have got to create and create. The reason why we really love what we do is every day is different here at the Henderson Financial Group. We're continually learning and growing and earning. Yes. I'm gonna say it again.
And not just for you. You're earning for so many other people.
Oh man, listen. The universal law says before we can enrich ourselves, we have to enrich others first. We have to enrich others first. Then we get enriched. That's a universal law. In order for the grass to grow, you got to give it water first, not just grow and then we'll give you water later. No. It has to be given. You have to serve water. It has to go to the grass, then it grows.
Then it give you pretty grass.
And then it gives you pretty gas. So what you put in is what you get out of it. You ain't put none in first. You got to pay you got to pay the cost to be the boss.
I see. Not everybody listening or viewing is our age, meaning Robert and myself. So for the younger people, I mean, do you think that there's a generation that is your age and younger that are making a decision that they're going to start planting, that they're going to start taking a look at, what is my gift and how can I open a business?
Yeah, because Hyacinth generation, oh my God, y'all got an abundance of weed smokers. They just smoking weed all day. They can't even get up and do nothing. So do you see in your generation? Tell me what.
So here's the thing. So it's so funny, but I just learned that the generations younger than me, they're not doing marijuana. They're doing like prescription medication, prescription pills. I didn't know that was a thing. I guess I'll be 40 in a few months. But here's the thing. Of course, I believe with every fiber in my body that my people are going to do great things. Why wouldn't I believe that? I believe that they're going to do great things. We have social media. We have access to so many things. And with anything, it depends on how you use the tool. I see people on social media. I see young people learning things without having to pay expensive college tuition. I see there are so many young Black female entrepreneurs who have cookware lines. These people making millions of dollars with cookware lines. And this morning, as I was getting ready, I said, you know what? I remember back in the days when I was coming up, if you had a cookware line like a Martha Stewart or whatever that was in Macy's, you just thought that you were it. But nowadays, they have learned that I don't have to be the one to go make the pot. I need to be in contact with the people to make the pot. And then I need to grow my social media followers and have influence and sell 2 million units. And I never went to school for cookware.
Wow.
Without a publicist. So I believe 100% that the people in my generation, those that come behind us as well, we have what it takes to create.
What about the guys? Is it mainly females? Do you see guys doing it too?
I see some gentlemen as well, and I see both. It goes both ways because within everything is two sides of a coin. So on some sides of the coin, people realize, oh, with social media, I can fake and I can pretend. And there are a lot of people, as I like to say, they be capping on the app, right? So what that means is they're pretending and not really who they supposed to be. But you got to look beyond that and look at the opportunities and see how you can move something. Some gentlemen I see they're moving and shaking as well. I don't subscribe to the no good men narrative. I don't describe that all Black men are deadbeat. I don't subscribe to those narratives. I subscribe to there are strong, powerful Black men who protect us, who provide for us, who build businesses, who build babies. I subscribe to that. And that is what I see. That's what I choose to focus on in my reality. And if I want to have more of that, I'm going to do my job in the ecosystem to empower my people. That's
Excellent.
what I believe.
What should they? What would you say to all of us, particularly you and Rob, for those people? Because everybody is on social media platforms telling you how you can quote unquote get rich quick. So what should they be aware of before we
First
go
of
off
all,
today?
let's be aware that there is two things. Either you're going to pay in your time to learn it and really execute it, right? Or you're going to pay somebody to learn it and do it for you. There is no get rich quick. Everything has a season. You have to plant the seed. Are you planting the seed in yourself? And you're going to spend the time that it takes, you're going to invest the time, not spend, invest the time that it takes to master whatever it is that you want to learn. You're going to invest that time in yourself, or you're going to invest that time in someone else. You have to pick a side. There is no free lunch. There is no get quick rich. It doesn't work that way. Nature is the real MVP. It teaches us the importance of seasons. It teaches us that in order for the sun to rise, it must set. It teaches us with the moon cycles. If we pay attention and realize, wait a minute, okay, how am I going to show up? What season am I in? And where am I going to show up in this season? Then we will have a higher success rate.
Right.
And one thing I wanted to add before I turn it back over to you, gentlemen, I don't want to take over your show, is as we talk about everything you hear us speaking about today, you may be asking, how I know they talking to me? We're talking to you. There's no doubt in your mind, because you could have been anywhere. You could have been watching something else. You could have been doing the funky Watootsie. But here you are watching us either on Facebook or YouTube. Whenever you're watching it, the message is for you. We want a message to come to us. Can you give me an answer? Can you help me? If only I knew. Here is your sign. The message is for you to take the information, become aware of what we share today, and then activate. So after awareness is activation. You're
305.
aware, then you take action.
305-825-1444. And you can
Miss-
also go on our website at www.the-hendersonfinancialgroup.com.
Yes,
And
indeed.
share. They got to share this, right? They got to share all this
Y'all,
information.
please do the share button. That's your cost today. Just hitting share. But Robert, before we let you close us out, I do know that we have an opportunity to take a look at where we are and to look beyond, because that was our thought for today. We want you to think and look beyond just your job and believe it's there. Now, like anything else, hey, it could be covered up by the dirt, or hey, it could be blocked out by my dad saying to me, hey, that's no job, or that's no job, or how could you leave that good job? Hey, you got to tune those people out, because there's a greater in you if it's telling you something, if it's telling you to take a look at yourself, and if it's telling you to think beyond that job, because believe me, what happens when they say to you, well, we just went through a year and a half or 2 years of this COVID, and right now we're changing things. So hey, we're having a layoff, or you can stay on, but you can only work 30 hours a week, or you can only work 20 hours a week, or whatever. But they're going to take of your talent so that they can generate that's above that profit margin that they're making. Because believe me, none of these companies are staying at a profit margin. They're always looking for an increase because usually they're using OPM, other people's money. They're out there. So we have to, be alert. So Robert, close us out. Tell them what to do. Tell them how to do it, and tell them why they should do it.
Okay, so the reason why, and I can tell you what you need to do. See, James, people are stuck on, they're just looking at themselves saying that they don't know something. They don't know how to do something. But listen, if you know somebody that know how to do something, that's a nugget right there. All of us know somebody, just like Hyacinth talked about cookware. The people didn't go to school for cookware that's making money selling cookware, but they know how to go get the good cookware and they know how to promote it and talk about it. And influencers, can you believe that? Them influencers just find a product and say, man, this is so good, and talk about it. So there is no excuse when you saying that you don't have the knowledge. If you know somebody with the knowledge, that's good. You are very valuable, more than you think that you are. You think that you don't have enough. You do have enough. All you got to do is really think how to use the tools that are right in front of you. The people that are right in front of you. The people that are right in front. Situations, products, services. Look around. You don't have to invent or start McDonald's. You can invest in McDonald's and make money. You don't have to. You follow me? You don't have to. Whatever you want to do, if you want to prosper, it goes with service. How can you be a service and monetize that service to someone else? And we all can serve. James, I think about, James, when you got into the radio business and you started actually going to a club and telling club, you didn't buy the club. You said, listen, I am a DJ. I can come here and get people here, and you own the club. That's all right. But I'm going to get the ticket at the door. You ain't going to buy no club. But you knew somebody who had a club. See, that's how you start thinking. All of this stuff is all around us, man. It ain't nothing new. It's right here. Just like when I say me and Hyacinth, something new. It ain't new. This strategy that we learned been around 300-400 years. It's new to us. So if you want to make a change, you got to open your eyes, not just your mortal eyes, your third eye.
Oh, that's my language right there. I like that.
Your thought, belief. You have first got to believe, and it will come. I tell you, you got to ask, seek, and knock. And you got to look around and be observant. Don't just keep on looking at stuff. Opportunities are abound. There's so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities out here. You just have to know how to. The only difference between a rich man and a poor man is the rich man did what the poor man either couldn't do or wouldn't do. 99% of the time, he wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it.
That's it. That's it.
All right, that wraps up. Hey, I see. Love you, sister. Love you. We are so proud of you. And yes, please continue to do what you're doing. And your dad and I and many others, we're behind you and supporting you and Tavares, Antonio, Jasmine, Charles, Miss Harris, Miss Linda V. Harris. I don't want to leave anybody out, but hey, we're proud of what you guys are doing, and we pray that God will continue to bless us. So that number, folks, 305-825-1444. Robert,
who do we have up next?
Oh, yes. All right. So you like my radio voice.
Yeah, I like it. I like when she run down our whole schedule. Our radio voice.
Let me in.
She just loves this. This is her voiceover. She don't get a gig doing this
voiceovers, right?
Go ahead, Hyacinth. Let
it
rip.
Right, awesome. All right. So you're tuned into the Henderson Financial Group Facebook page, where we provide an extensive amount of education, information to help you elevate to the next level. So tomorrow, Sunday, to kick off your week, we start with baggage claim right at 6 p.m. Then on on Wednesday, we start the party all over again at 12 noon. Mr. Henderson and myself for the Legacy, Lessons, and Transition show. Then at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening, Antonio Woodbury and No Facebook Tavares kick off with the Rising Solution at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening. So Sunday, then we hit you with Wednesday, and then we come right back, same time, same place on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. with the Understanding Money Show, 9:15-ish for the American Cream Show, and then 10:30 prompted on time for the Understanding Money Part 2 show. If you have not done so already, please do us a huge favor and hit the like button on the Henderson Financial Group page. When you do that, you will be notified of when we go live. Thank you so much for tuning in.
What about we're going to thank our friends?
And we'll thank all of our friends who are here on Facebook today, who's watching the show. We have Ms. Vickers always showing up and showing out. Thank you for your consistency and your dedication to yourself. Because although it looks like you're showing up for us, you're really showing up for you. So thank you for that. We have Miss Brenda Moore, Shanice as well. She's been on all day this morning. I've noticed that name several times. June Daney, my girl June, Miss Doretha Hall, Jerome McMillan says, hey, Hyacinth, hey.
Hey, Jerome. Hey, Jerome.
Miss Edwards is back. Miss Annie Edwards. All right. I think we got everybody. So awesome. Listen, thank you all for your commitment to yourselves, for showing up to make the commitment to empower yourselves, not only for you, but for your legacies that come behind you as well.
305-825-1444. We love you. Have a great weekend and wear your mask.
Peace.